Hey everyone, welcome back to FT News. I'm Myra. Euphoria Season 3 has officially ended, and honestly, this finale felt less like a season ending and more like the complete ending of the entire series. The episode was absolutely massive, running for more than 1 hour and 30 minutes, making it one of the longest HBO finale episodes ever. And by the end of it, 3 major characters were dead. Rue's story reached a devastating conclusion. Ollie transformed completely as a character, and almost every major relationship in the series emotionally collapsed. This finale was dark, tragic, emotional, and honestly exhausting in the exact way Euphoria always wanted to be. And the craziest part is that even after all the violence and death, the ending still somehow finished with a strange feeling of hope. The episode begins immediately after the cliffhanger from Episode 7. Rue and Faye are still inside Wayne's property trying to escape after stealing from the safe. But everything instantly goes wrong. Faye starts screaming to wake Wayne up, effectively betraying Rue and putting her directly back into danger again. Rue reacts quickly and attacks both Wayne and Faye before escaping, but Wayne chases after her with a gun and actually shoots her during the escape. This is important because from the very beginning of the finale, the episode constantly reminds viewers that Rue's body and mind are already collapsing. Even though she survives the gunshot, she spends the rest of the episode physically wounded, emotionally unstable, and mentally exhausted. And then the finale turns almost surreal. Rue gets lassoed by a man on horseback and dragged violently through the dirt like something out of a Western movie. The scene honestly feels bizarre and dreamlike, but that is intentional. Euphoria constantly portrays Rue's life like a nightmare where reality and symbolism blend together. The horse sequence represents Rue completely losing control over her life again. She is literally being dragged against her will by forces bigger than her. Thankfully, G appears and shoots the man chasing her, allowing Rue to escape. But the important thing is that Rue never actually escapes danger emotionally. Every time the finale gives viewers hope, it immediately takes it away again. Meanwhile, another emotional storyline involves Cassie and Maddie. After Nate's death earlier in the season, both girls are emotionally destroyed. One of the most emotional, quieter scenes in the finale shows them sitting together in a diner looking completely numb and traumatized. For years, these two characters were trapped in jealousy, betrayal, and toxic competition over Nate. But after everything they survived, that rivalry finally dies. Maddie asks Cassie what they're supposed to do now. And instead of manipulating her or fighting, Cassie simply holds her hand and says they will figure it out together. That scene matters because it shows the girls finally choosing each other over toxic men for the first time in the series. But the biggest storyline of the finale is obviously the war between Lorie and Alamo. Throughout Season 3, the entire criminal world around Rue kept expanding until it became almost impossible for her to escape. At first, it seems like Alamo may actually protect Rue. After she delivers the stolen licenses and helps him, he rewards her with money, painkillers, and emotional reassurance. He even kisses her forehead almost like a father figure. And honestly, this moment is disturbing because Rue desperately wants parental protection and emotional stability, especially after losing her father years earlier. Alamo manipulates that emotional weakness perfectly. He tells Rue they were meant to work together and gives her Percocets for the pain from her injuries. But the audience should immediately feel uncomfortable here because giving powerful drugs to a recovering addict is obviously dangerous. And this moment secretly becomes Rue's death sentence. Meanwhile, the DEA prepares a massive operation against Lorie's organization. One interesting thing about this finale is how it constantly compares legal systems and criminal systems. Almost everyone is corrupt. Almost everyone is selfish. Almost everyone is morally compromised. Even Ollie later explains that the real problem in the world is that people no longer know the difference between right and wrong anymore. That idea becomes the central message of the entire finale. Eventually, the DEA launches a gigantic raid on Laurie's property involving police, helicopters, and armed agents. And this is where the first major death happens. Laurie realizes there is no escape left. Instead of surrendering, she climbs onto the roof with a rope tied around her neck and hangs herself. And honestly, the scene is horrifying because Laurie was always portrayed as calm, emotionless, and terrifyingly controlled. But in the end, even she could not face losing control. Her suicide represents the complete collapse of the criminal empire surrounding Rue. But there is another twist. The DEA raid fails financially because the truck they seize contains almost nothing valuable. The drugs and money were secretly switched beforehand by Bishop, who turns out to be far smarter and more dangerous than many viewers realized. And this becomes important later because Bishop is secretly setting up Alamo's downfall too. Meanwhile, Rue returns to Ollie's house and temporarily seems calmer emotionally. One of the most emotional scenes happens when Rue asks Ollie, "How do so many people get to be so evil?" And honestly, that line basically summarizes the entire season. Rue spent all season surrounded by manipulation, addiction, exploitation, trafficking, violence, and emotional destruction. Ollie tells her selfishness is human nature. And while listening to the Bible audiobook again, Rue stares at the bottle of pills Alamo gave her. This is incredibly important symbolically. Throughout Euphoria, Rue constantly searched for salvation through drugs, love, religion, family, and fantasy. But none of those things fully healed her pain. Then comes another heartbreaking fake-out involving Fesco. Rue sees a news report saying Fez escaped prison exactly the way he joked about earlier in the season. And suddenly Rue becomes hopeful again. She rushes out desperately trying to find him. This entire sequence feels almost dreamlike because Rue starts flashing back to happier memories involving Fez, Jules, and childhood innocence. She eventually reaches her old family home and finds her mother reading the Bible at the table. Then she hugs her father. And this scene completely destroys viewers emotionally because Rue's father was the original source of her addiction trauma. After his cancer diagnosis, Rue was first exposed to painkillers while trying to emotionally survive losing him. So hugging him here symbolically represents Rue emotionally returning to the beginning of her pain. But then the finale reveals the horrifying truth. Rue was hallucinating the entire time. In reality, she is lying on Ollie's couch dying from fentanyl poisoning. And honestly, Rue's actual death scene may be one of the saddest moments in television this year because of how quiet and realistic it feels. There is no dramatic speech, no giant goodbye, no cinematic final words. Ollie simply walks into the room and realizes Rue died alone during the night. That silence makes the scene even more devastating. After surviving overdoses, violence, police chases, criminal organizations, and emotional collapse for 3 seasons, Rue dies quietly on a couch because the pills Alamo gave her were secretly laced with fentanyl. And this becomes the true horror of the finale. Rue did not die in some glamorous, tragic television moment. She died the same way thousands of Real addicts die every year. Quietly. Alone. And preventably. Ollie later tests the pills and confirms the truth. Alamo intentionally murdered Rue. That revelation completely changes Ollie as a character. Throughout the entire series, Ollie tried helping addicts through empathy, recovery, and guidance. But Rue's death destroys his belief system completely. One of the most powerful scenes in the finale happens during Ollie's recovery meeting speech. Ollie explains that he used to believe empathy could save people. But now he questions whether empathy even matters anymore, because evil people continue poisoning others for profit anyway. His speech about fentanyl becomes the emotional thesis of the entire finale. He says people no longer understand the difference between right and wrong. And after losing Rue, Ollie completely abandons the idea of passive recovery. Instead, he chooses revenge. This leads to the final showdown with Alamo. And honestly, this entire sequence feels almost like a different television show entirely. Ollie enters Alamo's club dressed in his old military uniform carrying a shotgun. That detail is important because Ollie is returning to the violent version of himself he spent years trying to bury. He corners G first and forces him to admit Alamo knowingly killed Rue. Then he shoots him. From that point onward, the finale basically becomes a revenge thriller. Inside the club, Alamo is meanwhile revealing his twisted worldview to Maddie. He talks about wanting the American dream, wanting a wife, children, and a peaceful life. But the disturbing part is that Alamo still views women as possessions even while talking romantically. Maddie realizes he is just another controlling, dangerous man pretending to offer security. Then Ollie arrives, and the final confrontation begins. Alamo eventually challenges Ollie to a duel after using Maddie as a human shield. But there is another hidden twist. Bishop secretly removed all the bullets from Alamo's gun earlier, meaning Bishop betrayed him too. So when Alamo finally pulls the trigger, nothing happens. Ollie then shoots him multiple times, and the repeated shots matter symbolically. Ollie is not simply killing Alamo physically. He is destroying the evil responsible for Rue's death. Maddie breaking down afterward represents her finally escaping another violent toxic relationship cycle too. But then comes the final scene. And honestly, this may be the most emotionally complicated ending Euphoria has ever done. After everything, Ollie visits the struggling family Rue tried helping earlier in the season. He introduces himself using another name and joins them for dinner. Then during prayer, Ollie opens his eyes and sees Rue sitting silently across the table smiling at him. And then the series ends. Now obviously, the biggest question is whether Rue was actually there spiritually. Honestly, there are multiple ways to interpret the scene. Spiritually, it could mean Rue finally found peace after years of addiction and suffering. Psychologically, it could simply represent Ollie forgiving himself enough to remember Rue lovingly instead of only seeing guilt and failure. But there is another darker theory too. Some fans believe Ollie himself may actually be dead by the finale. Because after the revenge mission and emotional collapse, some viewers think the dinner sequence may represent the afterlife or spiritual reconciliation instead of literal reality. Right now, nothing is officially confirmed. And that ambiguity is probably intentional. Now, of course, the biggest question fans have is whether there could still be a season 4. Honestly, after this finale, it feels very unlikely. Rue's death feels definitive. Laurie is dead. Alamo is dead. The central criminal storyline is over. Cassie, Maddie, Jules, and Lexi all received emotional conclusions. This genuinely feels like the final ending of Euphoria. However, if HBO does continue the show somehow, fans think it would likely focus on grief and emotional aftermath instead of Rue herself. Jules painting Rue's portrait while crying could easily become the emotional foundation for another season. Lexi's spiritual reflections about life continuing despite tragedy also feel like setup for future emotional growth. And Fesco's fate still remains technically unresolved too. But honestly, after everything in this finale, it is difficult to imagine Euphoria continuing without Rue at the center of it. Because even when she was self-destructive, chaotic, and broken, she was still the emotional soul of the entire show. And now that soul is gone. Thank you for watching this video. Sending you lots of love, and I'll see you in the next one.